What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the OG family. Make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe to my channel only if you want to. But look, my beautiful people, we got this top 5 ESP psychic telekinesis sightings caught on camera and in real life. You know what I'm saying? I guess camera, if in real life, if you catching them, it's gonna be. Look, I don't understand why it's written in a way, but it is what it is. Let's get into this video right here. If y'all haven't already, go ahead and follow my social media down below. You know what I'm saying? Click that joint, follow me. I'm trying to get to 100,000 on Instagram. Don't worry, I'll wait. Because Lovely Peaches got more followers. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm tight about right now. But let's get into this video.
The great enemy of writing.
Oh, we got hit with a commercial right off back, didn't we?
Lack of talent is being interrupted.
The most compelling proof of ESP, psychic powers, and telekinesis. Now, before I even start this video, let me emphasize that these are some of the most compelling videos that support the possibility of ESP or psychic powers. The videos here are presented as they were by the original eyewitness reports. In most cases, these stories were televised by major news outlets. But of course, it's up to you to decide what you believe. Specters and visions. Beginning in the 1960s, a woman named Stella Lansing claimed that she began to see strange lights in the sky and had odd visions that no one else seemed to see. In an attempt to prove that what she was seeing was real, Stella began to take photographs of her experiences. In one picture, a severed arm can be seen floating over a woman's head. This self-portrait taken by Stella Lansing shows bizarre lesions forming on her face. Despite trying many different types of cameras, the results were always the same. Unusual and often ghastly images appeared in the photos.
Oh,
in the late 1960s, Stella acquired an 8mm film camera and began to record her sightings in live motion. That's when things became even more bizarre. Single frames of Stella's film contained a group of men who seemed to be lurking in the shadows all around her. Paranormal investigators later began to refer to these men as, quote, the occupants. Film investigators checked Stella's footage, but no one was able to explain how the images got on the film, especially not how they could have been put there by Stella. After all, Stella Lansing was a middle-aged housewife with no experience in photography or photo developing. Keeping in mind that this was before the age of home computers, it would have required an expert production team to even attempt faking the images on the film. And here's where things get truly creepy. Stella's footage was shot on silent 8mm film. However, when experts transferred the silent film over to videotape to analyze, suddenly strange unexplained voices appeared on their tapes. Stella Lansing passed away in 2012. Her photographs and films have never been explained. Previous life. When little Luke Ruhlman was only 2 years old, he began to talk about a woman named Pam. Even though no members of his family or their friends had that name, he would call many of his toys Pam, and even sometimes refer to himself as Pam. As his ability to communicate grew, his seeming obsession with this imaginary person named Pam also began to grow.
Oh, I seen this one, I think.
His mom decided to ask him directly just who Pam was.
I was like, who is Pam? You know, out of frustration. And that's when he turned to me and looked at me and said, well, I was. And I was like, what do you mean you were? And he was like, well, I used to be, but I died, and I went up to heaven. I saw God, and then eventually God pushed me back down, and when I woke up, I was a baby, and you named me Luke.
Luke described that he'd actually been Pam in a previous life. According to Luke, Pam was a woman who had lived in Chicago who had died.
Look, look, man, I'm already on this type of stuff, man. I seen this story right here. Look, do y'all think these type of stories are real? I kind of do. I think they're real, man, because energy can't be created or destroyed, and therefore, bro, like, I feel like, you know, it might come back. Somebody else.
Pam had jumped from a window to escape an out-of-control
just don't know it.
fire. Luke was also able to
put it in the comments down below if y'all feel that way. Like, tell me how y'all feel in the comments. You know what I'm saying? There's no right or wrong answer because we don't know.
bizarrely accurate details of the woman's life in Chicago, even though he had never been there before.
Wow.
Luke's mom decided to do some research. Turns out there was in fact a woman in her 30s named Pam Robinson who had died in a fire in Chicago in 1993. Pam Robinson perished under the exact circumstances that Luke had described. When young Luke was shown a series of photographs of random women, he immediately picked Pam Robinson out of the group.
It was a black woman.
He, quote, remembered the picture. Chi. The television show Ring of Fire, an Indonesian Odyssey, was a series of documentaries about the islands of Indonesia, funded by the BBC. The documentary series began in
he's saying like the show. He ain't just saying BBC. You feel me? Like, get your mind out the gutter.
1972 and lasted over 2 decades. During filming, one of the documentarians got a severe eye infection while passing through the Lampung province of Indonesia. The native people referred the film crew to a mysterious local healer, a man they claimed had great healing power. This healer initially refused to appear on camera and did not want his name revealed, saying that it went against the ways of his sect and their teachings. The documentarians eventually coaxed him into appearing on camera, but promised they would not give his name, referring to him only under the assumed name of DJ. DJ claimed to be able to harness his chi, or life force energy, and then direct it into his patients to deliver healing transfers of energy, sometimes through acupuncture needles, and sometimes just through touch alone. The documentarians were doubtful, until one of them experienced the treatment firsthand.
It was nothing like any acupuncture I'd ever had. I was getting really powerful electric shocks and couldn't control my movements at all.
Like you can touch me, like this. It's nothing, okay? It's my burn. Just like this.
For our sound recordist, it was also a shocker.
I don't know. Y'all believe this?
He then took our newspaper outside and showed us how chi can also be used to set things on fire.
Oh, that's lit though. You know what I'm saying? I need to learn this.
The documentary filmmaker...
I'm about to go find him, bro. Like, you need to be my sensei, bro. Like, I was sitting Indian style for like 8 years and learn this. You feel me?
Returned later with a panel of experts to perform tests on the man known only
Work
as
on my chakras.
using metal detectors and even electric voltmeters to examine him, trying to determine if he was using some hidden means to induce electric current.
Hold on, my boy got on
Their
the thong,
instruments
bro.
and voltmeters showed no readings of electrical
I ain't going to that
energy,
school. I can't wear that.
despite the fact that they could feel shocks while touching him during the tests. Even though the tests were going well, suddenly one morning DJ refused to participate any further in the filming. He claimed that his long-dead master had appeared to him in a dream, furious with him for betraying the rules of his sect and showing off in public and in front of cameras. The documentarians reluctantly agreed to leave and never contact DJ again. Telekinesis. In the 1960s, a Russian housewife named Ninel Kulagina claimed to have the psychic gift of telekinesis. She said that she could move small objects over short distances using only her mind. Many believed that the claims were simply Cold War propaganda by the Russian government. Basically, a fake news piece produced in an attempt to scare the world into believing that Russia somehow had citizens with superhuman abilities. Over 40 international scientists were brought in to study Ninel Kulagina under controlled conditions. They were amazed as Ninel seemed to be able to move small objects solely with her mind. Clear glass boxes were placed over the objects to eliminate the ability for Kulagina to use magnets or even blow on the objects with her breath. But she was still able to perform her amazing feats. During the study, Kulagina's heart rate and brainwaves spiked erratically, and she complained of headaches. But nevertheless, she completed the tests. The scientific team investigating claimed that they could find no logical explanation for what Ninel Kulagina could do. remote viewing.
She looked like she was doing that thing, man. I don't know, man. Y'all let me know.
It's called remote viewing. And one of the world's finest exponents who's worked for people at NASA is sitting right over here, Joe McGonigal.
In the 1990s, a man named Joe McGonigal claimed to have an amazing psychic ability, remote viewing. Remote viewers claim that they are able to see psychic glimpses through another person's eyes, even if the psychic has never met the person, even if that person is thousands of miles away, and some claim even if the person is in the past or the future. In 1997, Joe McGonigal was tested by the BBC television show Paul McKenna's Paranormal World. He attempted to view what was being seen by a man that he'd never met, standing somewhere in London where he'd never been. Amazingly, Joe was somehow able to perceive that the man was looking at a railway bridge over the River Thames.
I want to mix half circles with straight lines. My sense of it is some kind of a raised object, perhaps. It's starting to look a lot like a bridge, but I don't want to call it a bridge. Okay. I don't want to call it a bridge yet. Looks a lot like a bridge, but I don't know if this is a walkway or if this is actually a waterway. This could be water as well.
The moment of truth.
Water, you've got water, certainly. Up here. Now, I tell you what is very interesting, because I know the bridge. And I was very much aware of trains passing over it.
Yeah.
So I must confess it is quite possible. I'm not trying to stretch it too.
No, I kept getting a great throughway with some kind of the arches or something at the end.
But the story of Joe McGonigal gets even stranger, because Joe soon began giving speeches at various UFO conferences. In his speeches, he made the wild claim that in the late 1980s, he had been enlisted by the CIA into a secret classified project. The goal of the project was to attempt remote spying on enemies of the United States. But it gets even crazier than that, because Joe McGonigal claimed that at one point the CIA gave him a sealed envelope containing a set of coordinates and a date. They then asked him, without him knowing the coordinates or date in the envelope, to tell them what he saw. What Joe didn't know was that the location and time that the CIA had given him were set up to intentionally discredit him. The coordinates led to a random spot on the surface of the planet Mars, and the time, millions of years ago.
He read me the coordinates, and what the coordinates turned out to be was Mars.
It was basically the CIA's attempt to prove once and for all that psychic remote viewing was a fraud. They fully expected Joe to start reciting standard earthly views, locations, and people, thereby proving that remote viewing was a scam. Instead, to their surprise, Joe began to say that he was seeing things that he couldn't comprehend. He said he saw giant alien beings who claimed to be dying, and odd buildings that looked like space-age pyramids. The experiment ended with Joe still claiming to see strange creatures and structures on an unusual landscape. Now, all that sounds like the whole thing has to be completely made up, right? Well, on August 8th, 2000, there was an actual document released by the CIA confirming everything that Joe McGonigal had claimed. The document still exists on the CIA's official website. It's linked in the video description down below. So is this just an extremely bizarre joke by the CIA? Or did Joe McGonigal actually psychically view strange beings on the surface of Mars millions of years ago?
Hey man, I got a question though for y'all. The people that's here right now. Do y'all believe in aliens? Do y'all believe in aliens? You know what I'm saying? Are we the only living beings in the whole universe? Think about that. I want to know, y'all, like, let's have these conversations, man. It's different. It's not these other videos we do like, yo, this is about some aliens. This is actually pretty cool, people. Are we the only ones? Have you had any experiences? Have you got abducted by aliens? Just let me know, you know?
Look at the evidence, check out the document, and let me know what you think down in the comments.
Yeah. I mean, that's a little wild, though. You feel me? That's a little wild, but look, man, let me know how y'all felt about this video right here, man. yeah, everything y'all have to say, just put it in the comments down below. Make sure y'all follow my social media. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give it a thumbs down. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? I'll see you on the next video. Like I say, spread love because there's too much hate in this world. Love you guys. Now I'm out.
Hey, hold up. I'ma give them time to fold up. She think I'ma flex on her when I roll up. Shit, from the toes up. When it comes to my drip, it's different. Get the